Hello everybody, welcome back all of you in class 7 science online classes, and today we are going to start at chapter 9, that is soil. Soil is one of the most important natural resources. It provides anchorage to the plants and supplies water and nutrients. It is the home for many organisms. Soil is essential for agriculture. Agriculture provides food, clothing, and shelter for all. Soil is thus an inseparable part of our life. The earthy fragrance the earthy fragrance of soil after the first rain is always refreshing. So, students, like air and water, soil is also one of the most important natural resources that is necessary for life on the earth. Soil supports the growth of the plants and trees by holding their roots firmly and by supplying them with water and mineral nutrients. Soil is also a home for many organisms such as uh, bacteria, fungi, ants, earthworms, rodents, termites, rats, snakes, etc. And soil is essential for agriculture, which depends completely on the fertility of the soil. Agriculture provides us all our basic needs, that is food, shelter and clothing. The soil is an inseparable part of our life. Let us study about the soil in detail. Soil teeming with life. One day during the rainy season, Paheli and Bujo observed an earthworm coming out of the soil. Paheli wondered whether there were other organisms also in the soil. Let us find out. Collect some soil sample and observe them carefully. You can use a hand lens. Examine each sample carefully and fill in the table 9.1. Soil source like garden soil, you can see grass, and soil from the roadside, you can see some other waste products also you can see in the soil that you will collect from roadside, that is wrappers and polythenes, etc. Then soil from the area where construction is going on, then you can find out in that type of soil that pebbles and small particles of stones. So students, basically we can say that if you will collect the soil from the different sources, you will find out the different substances in the different types of soil. Discuss your observation with your friends. Are the soil samples collected by your friends similar to the ones collected by you? Bujo and Paili have used soil in many ways. They enjoy playing with it. It is a great fun indeed. Make a list of the uses of the soil. You know that soil is used in the flower pots, in the we can say soil is used in making many types of toys and pots. So there is a different uses of the soil. So students, now we'll discuss about the soil in detail. So first we will discuss that how soil is formed. So we'll discuss about the formation of soil. But here we want to clear that Paheli said, I wonder why I found some pieces of plastic articles, polythene bags in the soil sample collected from the roadside and in the garden. Polythene bags and plastic pollute the soil. They also kill the organisms living in the soil. That is why there is a demand to ban the polythene bags and plastics. Other substances which pollute the soil are a number of waste products, chemicals and pesticide. Waste products and chemicals should be treated before they are released into the soil. The use of pesticides should be minimized. So students, these are the pollutants that are responsible for the soil pollution. So we have to minimize the use of this type of pollutant that are increasing the soil pollution. I have seen pots and toys made up of soil in Haat. Haat means bazaar. So you also have familiar with this type of articles which are made by the soil. So now we'll discuss about the soil profile. What is soil profile and how soil is formed? Soil is composed of distinct layers. Perform the following activity to find out how these layers are arranged. So students, soil is composed of different types of layers. So we have to perform one activity to know about the various constituents of the soil. So this activity we are going to perform to identify the various constituent of the soil. So the things needed for this activity is, we can say, the glass beaker, soil sample and a glass rod and water. So what we have to do in this activity, we have to take handful of soil from the garden or a school garden or any other place and break the clumps with hands to powder it. Now take a beaker or a glass tumbler and fill 3/4 of it with water. Now add handful of powdered soil to it. Then stir the mixture well with a glass rod and allow it to stand undisturbed for a few hours. Then after few hours you will observe that the soil separates into different layers on the basis of their particle size. As you can see in the figure 9.2, layers of the soil, you can clearly see the layers of the soil. So at the bottom of the beaker, the layer of gravel is seen. It is the layer of heavier and large sized particles. Above the layer of gravel, the layer of sand is seen. Above the layer of sand, fine grains of soil called clay is seen. Between clay and sand lies a thin layer of slate, and the water above clay is not completely clear, as you can see. It still contains very fine particles of clay. Then humus in the form of some dead rotting leaves or animal remains is found floating on the water. So after performing this activity, we get this conclusion: the soil contains gravel, sand particles, slate, clay and humus that are arranged in layers. The differences in the relative proportion of these various constituents lead to the formation of different kinds of soil. So students, this is the soil profile. A vertical section through different layers of the soil is called soil profile. So students, how soil is formed? Soil formation is slow and stepwise process. Soil is formed from rocks by the process of weathering, the process of breakdown of used rocks into small rock particle by the action of sun's heat, wind, rain, flowing water, climatic conditions is called weathering. Weathering of rock is a very slow process. It takes millions of years to break used rocks into its fine particles to make soil. When plants and animals die, their bodies are decomposed by microorganisms like bacteria and fungi present in the soil to form organic matter that is called humus, and humus contain nutrients like nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus, which are needed by plants for their growth and development. So the topmost layer of the earth crust, consisting the mixture of rock particle formed by the weathering of rock and humus, is called soil. So the nature of any soil depends upon the rocks from which it is formed and the type of vegetation that grows in it. So this is all about the formation of soil. So we can say soil is formed by the process of weathering, and soil is composed of different layers, as we have discussed, as we have seen by performing this activity. So students, a vertical section through different layers of the soil is called the soil profile, and each layer differs in feel, that means in texture, color, depth and chemical composition. These layers are referred to as horizons. So students, we usually see the top surface of the soil, not the layers below it. If we look at the side of recently dug ditch, we can see the inner layers of the soil too. Such a view enables us to see the soil profile at that place. So, as you can see in the figure 9.3, a vertical section through the soil showing the different layers of the soil is called the soil profile. And we know that each layer differs in texture, color, depth and chemical composition, and these layers are referred to horizons. Soil profile can also be seen while digging a well or laying the foundation of buildings. It can also be seen at the sides of the road, on a hill or at a steep river bank. Let us study the different inner layers, that is called horizon of the soil, in detail, that is shown in the figure 9.3 soil profile. The uppermost horizon is generally dark in color as it is rich in humus and minerals. The humus makes the soil fertile and provides nutrient to growing plants. This layer is generally soft, porous and can retain more water. It is called topsoil or the A horizon. So, the uppermost layer of the soil is called topsoil or A horizon, and it is the darkest in the color as it is rich in humus and mineral, and this layer is generally soft, porous and can retain more water, and topsoil provides shelter for many living organisms such as worms, rodents, moles and beetles, and the humus in the topsoil make the soil fertile. Plants get the essential nutrients from this layer. The roots of the most of the small plants are confined entirely in this layer. So, this is about the topsoil or A horizon. Then, subsoil. The next layer has a lesser amount of humus but more of minerals. This layer is generally harder and more compact and is called the B horizon or the middle layer. So, the layer of the soil which is just below the topsoil is called subsoil or B horizon. The subsoil show that this is the layer which is light in color than topsoil, and it has very little humus or organic matter. This layer is harder and more compact than topsoil, and roots of trees generally reach up to this level. This layer is rich in soluble minerals and iron oxide. So, this is all about the B horizon. The third layer is C horizon, which is made up of small lumps of rocks with cracks and crevices. The third layer is the C horizon, which is made up of small lumps of rocks and cracks and crevices. Below this layer is the bedrock, which is hard and difficult to dig with the spade. So, students, C horizon is also called substratum. The layer of the soil which is just below the subsoil is called substratum and also called C horizon. It is made up of small lumps of broken rocks formed by the partial weathering of bedrock that is lie below this layer. This layer lacks humus altogether and is infertile also. This layer is characterized by cracks and crevices. So, this is all about the C horizon. Then, just below the substratum or C horizon is the bedrock or parent rock and is also called D horizon. The bedrock is solid, non-porous and hard layer of weathered rock. This layer cannot be easily dug up even with a spade, and water cannot penetrate the bedrock. So it accumulates above it to form the water table. When there is a sufficient rain, groundwater level rises, whereas during drought, groundwater level falls. So this is all about the different layers of the soil and soil profile. So students, in this video we'll do this much. Thank you everyone.